Rather lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and press conference reaction as well. Mikel Arteta has been speaking to the media ahead of our trip to Manchester United, and he says there is a question to be discussed on Tomiyasu. There's a problem with Saka as well, and their availability, but there is hope that they can actually train today and all problems will be resolved. Mikel Arteta also has been talking about Arsenal not winning the Premier League, and he says there is nothing that comes to his brain that Arsenal are not going to win the Premier League. In his brain, it tells him Arsenal are going to be champions and we're going to have a parade on the 20th of May to celebrate Arsenal winning the Premier League for the first time in a very long time. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel as well. Do you agree with Mikel Arteta? Does your brain tell you that come the end of the Manchester United game, come the end of the Everton game, Arsenal will be champions? Or are you skeptical as I am on this video? Let's get into it. Mikel Arteta, they're talking us into believing that Arsenal are going to be winning the Premier League. First and foremost, talked about Tomiyasu's missing training and Saka's availability, and he said we have a few doubts that tomorrow can resolve because we have another training session as well. So we will wait and see. There are doubts over the names that you have actually discussed there. Now, for Saka, I think that we saw him come off the Bournemouth game, and with Tomiyasu, there's been something in the media about him non-training, about him not feeling well, but hopefully they can be resolved today. Now we have a training session today, and that should be one of the last ones before we get into those warm-up sessions against Manchester United at the Old Trafford. I think this team is okay, and I think this team is really, really fit to beat Manchester United without Tomiyasu. Without Saka, there is a question to be had. Some of you say that we could replace Saka with Gabriel Jesus. That's a very big risk because Saka is one of our most important players, but also the top performer at Arsenal this season with around 31, 32 goal contributions. So when it comes to Saka, he's irreplaceable in this Arsenal team. And until we get a player that we can trust, until we get a guy that can do the Bukayo Saka job, Saka is irreplaceable. But with Takara Tomiyasu, I would even go ahead and say, even if he's fit, but he's not 100% fit, you can leave him out. You can play your Julian Timber there, you can play your Kivio there, you can play your Alexander Zinchenko there, and Arsenal will still beat Manchester United by a comfortable margin if we are to win this game with a comfortable margin. So Mikel Arteta, they're giving us an update on Saka. I don't think I'm really scared. Is it mind games? I don't really think so, but I also don't think I'm scared for Saka's availability. I think he will be there eventually. On the new deal for Jorginho, Mikel Arteta said, I think there are no questions about his contribution to the team. The way he feels about his teammates, about the club, and the way we play, he's someone who makes everyone better. That's him, and that's his main quality. He's still hungry. He wants to win. He wants to win with us, and he's happy here, and his family is happy here too. So for us, it was really an easy decision to keep Jorginho. It was an easy decision for Arsenal to keep him. I think it should be an easy decision for every Arsenal fan to understand that Jorginho is still important, as a player. Pedigree, experience, leadership, and also reliability. Imagine this guy at, how old is he? Is it 35 or 49? Imagine at whatever age he is at, he is still one of the most reliable players in the Premier League. When it comes to that deep six, he's always there. He's never injured. Of course, he does pick up those small knocks because of the age, but he's always there. When you need him, he's there. And that's one of the things that Mikel Arteta really likes about him. So Jorginho saying a new deal is a no-brainer. He's an absolute gem of a player. Mikel Arteta, on him being, on Jorginho being Mikel Arteta's eyes and ears on the pitch, he says he's a very important player for all the coaches because of his game understanding and the way he communicates and coaches people is excellent. You need those types of players, but on top of that, I think he is a role model. It's very difficult to find someone better than him. When he needs to be at it and serious and drive people with him, he does it. When he needs to be fun and relaxing, relaxing as an atmosphere, he is one of the best. It's a very, very good combination to get from such a player. On being offered the current title situation at the start of the season, Mikel says, "I would take that pen and sign it." Definitely, there Mikel Arteta, very big fan of Jorginho. On what the emotions will be if we don't win the Premier League, Mikel Arteta says, "My brain always takes me to the players lifting the Premier League. That's what my brain is doing at the moment. I just follow my brain and my gut. That is how I feel. And this is the way I want everybody to think, and hopefully we can actually achieve it. So Mikel Arteta doesn't think there is a world where Arsenal don't win the Premier League. He thinks that the only world in his brain and his gut is Arsenal lifting the Premier League. Now, I've said this in the previous video that this could be a way of motivating the team. This could be a way of motivating the youngsters. Because listen, last season, Arsenal were very close, but then we were very far. And I think the games we lost last season dictated that Arsenal don't win the league. This season, we have made it a little bit better. We might get to 89 points. That is where Man City won the Premier League last season. And if Manchester City managed to stretch the limit from 89 last season to 90 or 92 this campaign, well done. Man City win the Premier League, and Arsenal have improved, but not improved to the level where we should have, beaten Man City to the Premier League. But I think, my gut feeling doesn't tell me that Arsenal are going to win. My gut feeling says Man City will win. My brain says Man City will win. But my gut feeling tells me that next season, Arsenal will be nearly perfect. I think next season we've got every single resource, every single thing we need to be nearly perfect. Just imagine this: if next season Arsenal go into the campaign as favourites to win the title, and we win our first 10 games of the campaign, which we should do, by the way, regardless of who is there, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, we should win our first 10 games of the campaign. If Arsenal do that, and then, we lead the table by Christmas, we lead the table by New Year's Day, and we lead the table in the last, going into the last 10 games and going into the last 5 games, we are going to be, in a much better side, and we'll be much more comfortable. Obviously, City will buy players this summer. They will strengthen. Chelsea will be better. Man United will look to be better. But for me, I still think Arsenal will be favourites next campaign. Okay? But Mikel says it's not this campaign. It is this campaign. On Fulham's kite-flying team bonding before playing Man City. Mikel says the power of team bonding, nobody knows what it is, but sometimes you get amazing results with it. I've been in teams that have struggled to win a game and go out for dinner and do an activity and start an unbelievable run. So I'm very positive that that's going to happen to Fulham as well. I tell you, before the bonding for Fulham, if there is a team that needs some bonding, it is Tottenham. Like, just Tottenham. I mean, Mikel Arteta has just given Tottenham a way of winning their next game. Go out for dinner. Go out and do a blind date marathon as Tottenham Hotspur fan. Okay, players, they are married. Go out there and do what? A blind dinner? Does that happen? I just think Tottenham Hotspur are going to go on a run. And I really don't trust Spurs. The way they play is very poor, and I think Man City have got every right to smash them and embarrass them. But Spurs have been on a very poor run. I won't be surprised to see Tottenham Hotspur go on a 3-game unbeaten run in the last 3 games. I won't be surprised because it happens. Clubs lose 4 games in a row and they go 3 games without losing. But Mikel Arteta says that he's not surprised and he's not worried. Fulham are going to do the job for him because they went out, skiing or kite flying or something like that. Mikel Arteta on his favorite team bonding activities, he says we've done a few. We've done trips. David Moyes used to take us around the US, and it was one of the best I've ever had in my life. On whether it is tough psychologically or not being in control of the title outcome, it says it's literally a very clear situation that you have to focus and be determined to do what you have to do and be the best, and get the best possible outcome. That's very simple and clear, and that's what we are doing. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. It's really frustrating for you not to have, the title result in your hands. Imagine Arsenal win 16 out of our 18 Premier League games for the second leg of the Premier League season. We have drawn 1 against City, we have lost 1 against Aston Villa, and we don't win the Premier League. Like, it really is frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. But I think with Man City, they'll also present their case in point, and they'll say, yes, you've won 16 and drawn 1 and lost 1, but hey guys, we've not lost a game in our last 18 games, and we have drawn only one game, which was against Arsenal, you guys, right? And maybe if Arsenal beat Man City, we have a different result. It's frustrating to me because I want to know that even if City don't drop points, Arsenal can still win the title. But that's not the point. The point is City can still drop points and even win the title, because if they drop points, if they drop 2 points, they will go into the final Premier League weekend the same number of points as Arsenal, and that means that from that game, from on that weekend, Arsenal and City will be looking to win their games first and foremost, but also they will be looking to goal difference. Can we go into the last game with a 4 or 5 goal difference on Man City? I pray that we do so. But if we cannot, then it becomes a much more difficult game. Okay. Let's see some of the other quotes that Mika has been talking about. On if it has been on if he has to prepare the players for the for the outcome of not winning the Premier League. He says we have to think that's going to work. We try to be better than our opponents and beat them. The final outcome is something else. At the moment, it is not in our control. On the form of Manchester United at the moment, Mikel says I don't think about it. Every game has a different context. We know the difficulty and the history when you look at what we've done over there. So we are going to have to be at our best to earn the right to win the game. Yeah, it's a different context, different game. But if Arsenal don't win, I'm not taking any excuses. On our record at the Trafford, Mikel says we know what we need to do, but first of all, we have to perform at a really high level to deserve to win the game. That is the focus, and that is what we are actually focusing on. On what he will be doing when Man City play on Saturday. Mikel says we are going to be training. I don't know if there is something we can control, but I'm sure people will be connected to it. It's a very, very emotional game. It's a very high level game. It's a very nervous game, and I don't think Mikel Arteta is going to be training 100%. I think he will be getting updates on the Manchester City game. If they don't win, then the level of emotion and the quality of those emotions in the team and the camp are going to be very different. On going head to head with City 2 years in a row, Mikel says we are on the journey to try catch them and even be better than them, which is the aim and what we have to do. It's an inspiration to have this level of opposition, and it makes you better if someone challenges you to go further and further. Yep, I agree with that. I think Arsenal are partly what we are because Man City have set the bar too high. They've set the bar at 89 points last season and we didn't get there. This season they have potentially set the bar at 92 points and we might not even get there. So yeah, they are still they're still a really quality side. On how difficult it is to beat Manchester City, Mikel says the history of City, they were winning trophies and winning the Premier League. They have been on an unbelievable journey over the last 10 to 15 years, but we want to change that. We are trying to do everything we can to improve and get better and better. On if Old Trafford is similar to Anfield in terms of the atmosphere to play in, Mikel says it is different, but the difficulty there is the quality of the opposition, the quality of the individuals and the manager. It brings a lot of challenges, but we've been in a very difficult stadiums this season and done very well. So hopefully we can do the same on Sunday. On personal memories of playing against Manchester United away, Mikel says, I don't know. I think we are now preparing for the game and trying to visualize the game. That's what we are trying to do, and that's what we're going to do on Sunday. We put ourselves in a really positive context. That's what we try to do every game. On our 3-1 win against United at home, Mikel says it was a game with a lot of alternatives. It was a difficult one, and there were small margins because they really had a huge moment when the goal was disallowed. Then we turned the game around and scored 2 very good goals. That tells you the quality of them and what they are going to have to do and what we are going to have to do to actually beat them. And if he sympathizes with Eric Ten Hag, Mikel says for sure, because at this level, that's the reality. The margins are so small and the momentum shifts in relation to an action sometimes in the game, sometimes in a season, because you need that moment for something to click and start on an unbelievable run. So of course I do I do sympathize with him. Mikel Arteta on Jorginho, on Jorginho's influence, he says, first of all, as a player on the pitch, he's a phenomenal player and he gives us so much. For the rest of the qualities that he has to bring to the team, to the squad, to the club, and to our culture, I think we are delighted to actually have him. On Mikel, on his own emotions with 2 games to go, it says focus on what we have to do. I'm determined to do what we have to do, and at the same time, very enthusiastic and very excited and enjoying the moment at the same time. On where he visualizes City dropping points, it says that is something that's not in our hands. I'm telling you how I'm feeling. The thoughts that come in my head, and what is driving my energy and my purpose right now. That ambition and that objective, that is actually very, very good. On how to prevent us from getting too high or too low, and because it's being focused and determining what we have to do is the only thing we can do at the moment, which is a lot, because there is a lot to play for against very difficult opponents. We know the turns that can happen in this league. You just have to look at the history of the Premier League. So Mikel Arteta is still very confident that Arsenal could actually walk away with the Premier League. He thinks that City will drop points somewhere, although he doesn't control it. So let's wait and see if indeed City will drop some points, because that is something that we will need very, very soon to happen.